All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to have a webinar all about the pharmacy technician program, which is a great career to consider if you're looking to stay in Nova Scotia. So today I'm joined by Sandra, who is a faculty with Albany campus. If you want to introduce yourself, Sandra.
Sure. Hi, my name's Sandra Birmingham, and I've been faculty here at Albany campus for about 2 years now. I am a pharmacist and have been working in the field in Nova Scotia for quite a few decades.
Great. So my name is Jessica, and I'm a student recruitment coordinator here at NSCC. So we're going to talk all about pharmacy technician today. So if it's a program you're considering, it's a great place to be for the afternoon. We'll go through a little bit of the admission requirements, what a week or schedule of classes might look like, as well as career opportunities and what maybe the workload looks like for the program. So we're just going to start with a couple of important acknowledgements. NSCC is located in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded territory and traditional homeland of the Mi'kmaq Nation. Our relationship is based on a series of peace and friendship treaties between the Mi'kmaq Nation and the Crown, dating back to 1725. As treaty beneficiaries, we recognize that we are all treaty people. NSCC also recognizes the African Nova Scotians as a distinct group who arrived here 400 years ago. From that time on, they've contributed to the infrastructure and economic wealth of the towns and cities they helped to build, but from which they could not benefit. Let us learn more about how our respective communities were shaped by the historical contributions of African Nova Scotians to Mi'kma'ki. So just a few housekeeping items for today. If this is your first webinar that you've attended, your microphones are off and your cameras are off, and they will be for the duration of the webinar. So you can just sit back and relax and enjoy all the information we have to share with you today. We'll be answering questions throughout the webinar and also at the end. So you can use the questions box that's on your control panel on your screen. Those questions will go directly to myself, and we'll work with Sandra to get those answered at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions that are personal in nature or application specific, or maybe not related to pharmacy technician, you can email recruitment@nscc.ca, and our team would be happy to point you in the right direction for those questions. Today is December 11th, 2024. So if you happen to be watching this webinar after the fact, so if you're watching a recording, just know that some of the information may change. So our website does have the most up-to-date information about this program and any type of application process. So NSCC, if you're brand new to us, is the Nova Scotia Community College. We have locations throughout Nova Scotia and very specialized programs. So pharmacy technician is a great example of that. A lot of our programs you won't find at every college or university in Nova Scotia or even within Canada. We're very driven for graduate employment, so I'm sure Sandra will get into it, but all of our programs have some type of a work placement or work experience component. So you are learning the skills in the classroom and in the labs, and then you're going to translate them right into industry. Very hands-on program. So Sandra herself today is in the pharmacy lab, so she'll tell us a little bit about that. Small class sizes as well. So most classes are between, say, 10 to 30 students maximum, and our instructors have real-world experience. Sandra, of course, is a pharmacist herself, and a lot of our faculty come directly from industry. So just a little snapshot of kind of what separates or distinguishes NSCC from other post-secondaries in the province. So here's a map of Nova Scotia. We are on the eastern coast of Canada. We have 14 campuses across the province, including an e-campus. So today, pharmacy technician is a program only offered at the Albany campus, which is in Dartmouth. So that's the only place you'll find pharmacy technician, although we do have other campuses and other programs available. So just a little bit about the Albany campus to familiarize yourself. It is our largest campus, so it's right in Dartmouth, right on the waterfront. It's a beautiful location. It's home to a lot of different centers. So you see the Design and Innovation Center, the Center for Built Environment. It also has a lot of distinctive programs. So pharmacy technician is one, also radio, television, journalism. There's always something happening at the Albany campus. It's also home to the Aviation Institute, where you can find lots of our aircraft maintenance programs. And really exciting is that we have housing available at the Ivany campus, and that will open next fall, so fall of 2025. So if you're coming to this program from outside of HRM and you need some housing options, that will be available next fall. So that's pretty exciting for the province. So just a quick little snapshot of the admission requirements for this program. So we do require a high school diploma or equivalent. And within that high school diploma, you have to have academic biology, chemistry, and English. So there's not a certain mark required in those courses, but you do need to have those credits on your transcript. For math, you will need a 75% in academic grade 12 math. So that's the baseline admission requirements. If we have any international applicants on the webinar today or listening in after the fact, we have admission requirements for NSCC for international students, but also for the National Association of Pharmacy Regulatory Authorities. So they have specific admission requirements for their international applicants as well. So you'll see here, international applicants must have graduated from a high school in Canada with 3 consecutive English courses, or a university in Canada whose instruction was provided in English, or meet the, and I'm sure Sandra knows the right way to say this, but the NAPRA or NAPRA language proficiency test. NAPRA, perfect, for pharmacy technicians. So there's language requirements for NAPRA and language requirements for NSCC. You will have to meet both to be admissible to the program. If you have any questions about the admission requirements, you can check out the program page where you can see exactly what a high school diploma or equivalent is for your country of origin as well. So definitely check the website, but that's just a quick snapshot of the admission requirements for this program. All right, so I am going to pass it over to Sandra now, who's going to take you through the specifics of the program. Again, just a reminder to use the questions function if you have any questions throughout her portion.
Thanks very much, Jessica. So with respect to the program, it is a 2-year diploma program, and it is an accredited program. And so what that means is that to work as a pharmacy technician within Canada, going through an accredited program is a must. And also there's, in Nova Scotia, we've got lots of opportunity with that too. There is a lot of demand for pharmacy technicians throughout healthcare at the moment, so you really are considering a field where there'll be lots of choice for work when you're ready to go and get started. We do basically find the field of or the work of pharmacy technicians throughout healthcare. It's a healthcare profession, and so patient care is very much a part of what pharmacy technicians do, and that can be everything from helping to dispense medications, which is sort of preparing them and distributing them, to providing services like giving injections and immunizations in the pharmacy and different things along those lines. So you're making creams, you're making ointments, you're preparing medications and helping people with their health concerns. So it really is a very rewarding field to work in. As far as starting within the program at NSCC, you do not require any experience working in a pharmacy to do so. And really, we find only a small percentage of our students may have actually had a bit of time working in a pharmacy. So certainly we give you the tools and the experiences here in the program to make sure that you can succeed in the real world later on. With respect to the entire field, there's so much work right now. It is really a wonderful situation to be getting involved in. So lots and lots of demand in Nova Scotia and throughout Canada. Jessica, if you'd like to switch to the next slide. This slide here does show us basically a template of a timetable for an average week. This is the first year curriculum that we're looking at. And so I did say it's a 2-year full-time program. And so the schedule will be determined by what year you're in and what term that you're going through. But as you can see, you're looking at, usually a sort of 8:30 to 4:30 scheduling for classes. And we do have 3 full-time faculty involved in in the different courses. So you are seeing a variety of different people working with you, learning the material. At the moment, I cover things like the pharmaceutical calculations class, some anatomy and physiology, so lots of grounding in the health basics that you need to then go and learn about the drugs. That is sort of, what our bread and butter is, what we learn the most about here in pharmacy. So that, I think, schedule kind of covers the basics. Some of these courses are actually going to be delivered in classrooms, so some of the material does need to be a bit of a classroom setting, but other material is very much learning to do things hands-on in a lab. So, for example, there's on Monday afternoons in first year, you're learning how to use the basic computer software of a lot of pharmacies, and so you have get to work in this lovely lab facility and practice that material here. So. Okay, but our teaching style is definitely a combination of us bringing real life experience to the classroom and working our way through helping you learn how to do things hands-on that you'll be doing working in the field. So I think we can flip to the next slide, Natasha. Great. Okay, so workload and evaluation. I guess I can start by saying you should expect to be studying for all of your classes. There can be homework and assignments, but we recognize that a lot of people in the adult learning environment are juggling other things in their lives. So we often manage to give some classroom time to be working on some of these projects or activities. And some people will take home a lot to work on, others will not. But all of the courses do have material that you're going to probably spend some time with at home practicing. With respect to assignments, tests, and group work, there is a variety of that throughout the different courses. Depending on what we are reviewing and learning, our method to assess understanding can change. So sometimes you have to give a test to make sure that calculations and math is understood. But then when we are looking at things like we've taught you how to do something in the lab, well, we're going to want to be able to see you demonstrate that skill back to us. So we have lab courses to practice that in this safe environment, and then you have the opportunity to do the simulation and show us that you're understanding and building the skills that you'll be using every day working as a pharmacy technician. The course workload term to term or year to year does build or scaffold on the information that you've learned. So success in continuing along the class, the course load does require you being successful maybe in a prerequisite course sometimes. So just bear that in mind, but it is 2 years of full-time study. So I think that's it for that slide. If to move on. Yeah. And as far as working in this field goes, at the moment, and I foresee for the next several years, we all know that healthcare in Canada needs many, many more people working in it. So there are lots and lots of jobs available in a variety of areas. And I guess I want to mention that one nice thing about working in pharmacy as a pharmacy technician, it's a position that translates very easily into full-time or part-time work, depending on your life situation. Throughout your career. So there's a great deal of flexibility once you're out in the workforce. As far as the programming here, we definitely want to make sure that you're ready to and comfortable to work in the industry when you get there. I didn't mention this, but in our course programming, you will do practical practicums, we call them, or you'll do work placements within community pharmacies or hospital pharmacies to sort of solidify that the learning you've done each year. So at the end of classes, after the first year, you'll spend 4 weeks learning in a community pharmacy. And at the end of your second year, you'll get an opportunity to work in a hospital pharmacy for 4 weeks and a community pharmacy again for 4 weeks to help to have that hands-on learning in the actual real world environment. Career opportunities for pharmacy technicians are plentiful at the moment. So always, the community pharmacy, so that would be your retail pharmacies that you see, in your community, or sometimes inside other stores or grocery stores or different things like that. Those types of pharmacies are always looking for pharmacy technicians. We have pharmacy technicians working in hospital as well, because when patients are in hospital, they need medications. Somebody has to prepare those medications. So our pharmacy technicians will be doing that also, making up IVs and different things like that too. We have a lot of work for pharmacy technicians, even in fields related to health insurance, because we're seeing more and more people being approached for work in that area, just because with the health knowledge and the medication knowledge that you have as a pharmacy technician, it can be very valuable to the health insurance industry or to the even to the manufacturers and business side of things. We have pharmacy technicians who are working as representatives for companies, maybe demonstrating diabetes devices or different things like that. So there's lots of work. And to just make it clear, it's only December the 11th, and we've already had 5 different recruiters in to talk to first and second year students from PEI, Cape Breton, the hospital, and from private industry pharmacies as well. So there's lots of opportunity when you're out. I think that kind of covers the basics for that slide. And then lastly, the tuition and program fees slide. This does look quite up to date, quite current. I mean, while you're in school, we do have the tuition costs. There's some textbook fees, which are hopefully not too terribly high. We try to do as much as possible in class with material that's not going to be in a textbook. Because you're working towards becoming a regulated health professional, there are some fees related to the College of Pharmacists of Nova Scotia, which is our regulatory body, and having insurance regarding practicing in the field. So these are all added and listed with your cost here as well. Because of the healthcare environment we're working in, there are, we need confirmation of some immunizations, and there's lots of information about that once you start with the program. So some of the costs related to things like immunizations might not be reflective of what you require, depending on what you've already received. So just to be aware of that, and that's something to speak with student services about. I mentioned the placements. So when you do your practical experiences at the end of the school years, travel and accommodations are listed in there with costs associated with them, but it'll really depend on where you're working. So if you, let's say, live in HRM, well, perhaps you're going to have a position here at a store in HRM for that time. So maybe you'll be able to, maintain your usual housing costs and not have to go out somewhere else. For some folks who might actually live outside of HRM, outside of Dartmouth, somewhere else in the province, and they're going to maybe go home and work in their hometown for one of these practical experience programs. Again, the costs wouldn't be as high, but we do list them there just for completeness, just because we can't always be certain of these things. So I think that covers the basics. We do use a computer and accessories. It doesn't need to be anything fancy though, so that's already listed there. Thank you, Jessica. I think that's
Great.
more
That's great,
than enough.
Sandra. And just to mention too, especially with that computer one, because it could be a little daunting to see $1,000 there. If you already have a computer, you don't have to buy a new one for this program. And you'll get information about different software you might need, et cetera, once you're accepted into the program. So just to touch a little bit, since we are on the topic of fees and bursaries and scholarships, we do have a lot available at NSCC. So we have over $3 million available in scholarships every year. And it's based on a wide range of criteria. So most of our bursaries are based on your financial need and your volunteer experience rather than your academic merit. So you can check out our student awards site now, just while you're budgeting and seeing all those program fees and thinking about how you might pay for your schooling. To consider the scholarships and bursaries, there may be some, especially for pharmacy technician students. There could be some based on the area of the province you're coming from. So it is a wide range of opportunities out there. So definitely check out our student awards site just to get an idea of what could be out there when you're budgeting. So just a little rundown of how to apply to an NSCC. So hopefully we've convinced you today to apply to pharmacy technician. For pharmacy technician and most of our programs at NSCC, you're accepted to the program based on your application date. So you do need to meet those admission requirements that we talked about. So those courses that you need and the averages that you need, but otherwise it's based on your application date. So the earlier you apply to a program, especially pharmacy technician, as this program does tend to waitlist every year, the earlier you apply, the earlier you're accepted. So that includes applying in grade 11, which is different for other post-secondary. So with NSCC, you can apply your first day of grade 11, and then you're kind of at the top of the pile when applications open in grade 12. So you can apply for up to 2 program choices. So say, for example, pharmacy technician is your first choice, and maybe another healthcare program is your second choice. If you're a student in Nova Scotia, you can include your provincial student number on the application, and that way we can pull your transcripts automatically throughout the year. And then you could just sit tight until your application is assessed. So like I said, the pharmacy technician program does waitlist. So if you are waitlisted for this program, I wouldn't panic. We do have a lot of movement on the waitlist throughout the year. If you aren't offered a seat for the intake that you've applied for, your position on the waitlist, if you're a domestic student, will carry over every year. So you don't need to reapply for the next year. You'll kind of be moved through the process for the next year. So just something to keep in mind, especially since this program is pretty popular, which is great because, as Sandra said, there's lots of career opportunities for a pharmacy technician. So just a reminder, you can apply early for this program. Include your provincial student number if you're a high school student. If not, just be sure to submit your transcripts and any other documents we might need, like language test results or anything like that. And then just keep an eye on your email, and our admissions team will reach out if a seat becomes available to you for this program. So that is about the end of our presentation. So I know we gave like lots of great information. I'll check to see if we got any questions throughout the session, but if not, and you have questions down the road, either this evening or next week or next month, you're welcome to reach out to myself or recruitment@nscc.ca, and we're happy to give you any additional information that you might need. I don't think we've received any questions, so we must have been that thorough.
Wow.
Oh, actually, here's one. So there is a question here. If you are waitlisted, can you do any type of online courses in the meantime? So for pharmacy technician, the courses that are within that program are reserved for students enrolled in the full-time program. So there isn't any kind of courses you can take off the side. We do have a couple of continuing education courses, so upgrading courses or different courses, but I don't believe there's any that are directly related or credited towards pharmacy technicians. So it would be just sitting tight until you're offered a seat. It might be a good chance for you to do a little bit of work in a pharmacy if you wanted to, just to kind of keep your interest engaged and that kind of thing. But there wouldn't be any courses you could do while you're waitlisted. So, and I think there is a question here just about waitlists and how they're managed. So like I said, the waitlists do change throughout the year. If you are placed on the waitlist, there's a variety of factors that go into your placement on the waitlist. So we can't tell you exactly where you are on the waitlist, but if you did want to send me an email, I could let you know how many are on the waitlist and just to give you an idea of when you might be offered a seat. And there's lots of factors that go into your placement too. So as a Nova Scotian community college, we are able to prioritize applications from Nova Scotians. So that would allow you to move up the waitlist a little bit more. So just different factors like that. Again, don't panic. If you're on the waitlist, you will get a seat eventually. It just might be a little bit of a wait. So let's see here. I think we have one more. Sorry, it's hard to see on this software. Again, just a couple more questions about the waitlist. It depends each year how fast the waitlist moves, to be honest. And we are able to accept students up until, I believe it's the second week of September. So you are able to join a little bit later if, say, a student starts in the program and decides it's not the right fit, that kind of thing. So again, it's just like it's tough to be on the wait list, but again, there's lots of movement that happens on them. So great. I think that is the end of our questions for today. Again, if you have any questions that you think of tonight or down the road, you're happy to answer any questions you might have. You can email, text, or call me. And thanks so much, Sandra, for joining us. It's exciting to hear what all the opportunities that the pharmacy technician program has. So we hope to see some of you in the future at NSCC for the pharmacy technician program.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.